Panther Magazine, the Panther Platform lookbook and the official publication for the Panther Platform. What's up, Panther fam? It's Deric here from Panther Magazine, and thanks for checking out the channel. So a few weekends ago, I hosted a Panther Platform meet in what was supposed to be Dearborn, Michigan, at the Henry Ford Museum. And this video is gonna pretty much be the story behind that crazy weekend and how it turned out. So again, thanks for checking out the channel, and let's get into this video. So again, I decided I'm at work, I'm at home in my office, and I'm thinking a Panther meet at the Henry Ford Museum or the Ford headquarters would be really cool, considering the Panther platform of Ford cars. And I've been trying to get a sponsor from Ford for the past few years, so I figured it would be a good idea to host a meet in Michigan. Tons of people in the Michigan area was like, yeah, the headquarters wouldn't be a good idea, we'd probably get shut down. Then a few other people gave me some insight on hosting it at the Henry Ford Museum, which has a lot of parking. And big shout out to my friend G, my boy G from Philly Panther Meets. He set that up and we got the okay. So fast forward about a week before the meet at the Henry Ford Museum, I get an email from the personnel that works for Henry Ford. I think it was the event operations or something similar to that title, that they needed a group reservation from us in order to secure parking because they had other events going on. And then, excuse me, I later learned that they kind of wanted a price, they wanted a number from me in order to secure parking at the parking lot. I think the entrance fee is like $35, and there was about 84 people, so I would have had to pay that up front out of pocket since it was my event. And I didn't really want to do that, so I told her we can find another parking lot to park at. It wouldn't be a problem. So I changed the location to a local mall, and tons of parking there. I forget what the mall was called off the top of my head. And big shout out to Rob Hoonmerk. Me and Hoonmerk, I met him. I drove from Massachusetts to Albany, New York to meet Hoonmerk, and then from Albany we drove to Detroit, Michigan. About 13 hours, we stopped about 3 times. So 13 hours, we stopped about 3 times, and we finally got there. We had a few hours before we can check into the hotel that I booked. And Dale Ruzine, who shot the Panther People film, he was a few hours away, a few hours after we had arrived. Big shout out to Wade the trucker. Check out his YouTube channel. He was there about a day or two early, so we pulled up to his parking lot, which was literally 30 steps behind the Ford headquarters. So we parked there in Dearborn. So we parked at Wade the trucker's hotel for a couple hours before we could check into ours. And the mall that we was supposed to have the meet at was directly, again, another 10 steps away from Wade's hotel. So we drove over there and checked it out, made a post that we was gonna park there. Maybe like 15 minutes later, security pulls up and was like, yeah, you guys can't park here, you guys can't hang out here. And he pretty much shut the meet down. So it's a day before the meet, and I'm like stressing. I'm like, all right, almost 100 people are gonna show up. People drove from out of state. I just drove 13 hours. I'm not from Detroit. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. So me, Wade the trucker, Rob Hoonmerk, and Hoonmerk Racing's mechanic Kenny Lynch, we sat in the parking lot of Wade the trucker's hotel trying to find another location to host a meet. Again, it's the day before the meet. People drove from Carolina, Ohio, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and I did not want this meet not to happen. So after a Google search, I found a free parking garage. Considering the meet was on Sunday and this is a free parking garage, I'm like, we should be okay. So me and Wade the trucker drove over there. I still have about an hour or two before I can check into my hotel. And there's people taking pictures at the top of the parking garage and stuff like that. So I'm like, this should be okay. So I made a post, changed the location to the parking garage. Some of the locals left a comment on that post saying, yeah, that parking garage is no good. The police are gonna shut that down. They've been up there doing donuts on weekends and stuff. It's not gonna be a good idea to park almost 100 Panthers up there. So now I'm stressed again. Gotta change the location again. I'm like, oh my goodness. Let's just go check into the hotel and I'll figure it out. So I check into my hotel. It's me, Wade the trucker, Dale Rosine, Hoonmerk, and Kenny Lynch just hanging out in my hotel in Romulus, Michigan, probably 15, 20 minutes outside of Detroit. I'm trying to figure it out. And then big shout out to Shannon from Crown Vic Girls, the 25th chapter, the Detroit chapter. I just uploaded a video of her car before this video. She suggested Belle Isle in Detroit. Tons of parking, we should be okay. So I made that the location, and yeah, I think it was $11 admission to get into the park. I got there about 20 minutes early, and there was already 2-3 Panthers following me once I got through the gate. And yeah, I parked the car. As soon as I parked the car, maybe 15-20 minutes later, a bunch of Panthers started rolling in, which turned into the videos you guys seen. So yeah, that weekend was crazy. Once I checked into my hotel the night before, those guys that were hanging out with me went out to eat downtown Detroit, and I didn't go because I'm like, I had to figure out where the heck we're gonna park. Like, I can't really party tonight, unfortunately, and go out to eat and stuff. But we figured it out. Belle Isle in Detroit, Michigan, exactly 84 Panthers showed up. I was not expecting that number, and we had a great time. The craziest part about this story is I kind of canceled the Henry Ford location because I really didn't want to pay the group reservation fee up front, because they made it seem like there was going to be nowhere for us to park. About maybe an hour or two into the meet, everybody left Belle Isle and went to the Henry Ford Museum and parked, and nobody said anything for the day. So it was kind of like, what the heck? But Belle Isle was really a good location. Everyone liked that more, so I guess that worked out that way. So all in all, it was a great weekend. I learned a lot about being a businessman in that sense. Being so far from home, in Massachusetts, I can give you 20 places we can park our cars and be fine. But being all the way in Detroit, I know Panther enthusiasts there, but it's hard for me to just come up with a spot. So I figured it out. And yeah, in all, it was a great weekend. It was an awesome weekend. I can't even ask for anything better. I think I drove a total of 1,700 miles in my 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis. So a big shout out to Andrew, who helped me do the suspension, the front end suspension, for me to get there from Massachusetts. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. It was a crazy weekend. Probably doesn't sound that crazy, but I was stressed, but we figured it out. Big thank you to everyone who showed up. I definitely need to go back to Detroit again. There's a large Panther community in Detroit, in that Midwest area. So I definitely plan to go back. Next up is Ford Nationals in 2 weeks in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I'm really looking forward to that. Ford Nationals is always a great time. And yeah, thank you guys for checking out the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.